Hello. Good afternoon. Later than normal. Hopefully some of the old boys are knocking around. Let me just check my sound. Things a little bit quiet. Yes, it is. There we go. Hello. Yes. All right. Good. We're looking good. We're in the green. We're in the yellow. No expenses spared here because you guys can see in the top right corner. Good old notepad, guys, for when you guys are telling me, get this guy in, have a think about this guy, what are you doing over there? And I just nicely put up here in the yes, no, maybe column. And that's what we're gonna do. So when you're giving me your suggestions, like Sa, who is currently in my side, he's gonna be a no. Sa is not going to be in my wildcard side. For those of you that have played the game for a while, you will know that you try and earn a bit of money. I've been terrible with value so far this year. I've just been trying to focus on points and players, and I've doubled in rank. Absolutely plummeted. The wildcard that I'm considering, I've got a few drafts I'm going to go through today. If you watch my video and you've heard any of my stuff from this season, you know I've been thinking of going 5 at the back or 4 at the back. Now it's going to go huge at the back. Something I've talked about since pre-season. Everyone seems to be jumping on it now. That's fine. More power to them. Maybe it's going to work out for everyone. For those who are brave enough who are going to hit the big at the back button. So just for now, you can see on the screen these players. For example, Ducore, Sa, even Alonso and Rudiger. These are players that I got in. And Saint Maximan, these are players I got in because I tried to get a little bit of team value over the week. So, for example, Livermento's gone up only gone up 0.1. I need him to go up 0.2 by tomorrow, and then that's when I'll finalize what I'm going to do. But I'm going to explain the drafts that I've got, why I'm going big at the back and expensive at the back, and the slightly different drafts that I've got. But they all seem to have the same theme, and that is having a minimum of 4 big defenders. So you guys can always throw your players in there, and I'll put them in my yes, no, maybe column in the corner. Yeah, that's pretty much it. We'll just have a quick review, guys. You know, the last couple of weeks have been painful. 35 points from me last game week. Foster got me 3 points better than Raya, so yay. Trent Alexander-Arnold getting me 1 point against Brentford. Sufal getting me 2. Cody coming in with a big 6-pointer. If I didn't get that out, it would have been really bad. Shaw coming off injured for a 0. My Salah, vice captain, only got 7 points. Could have got more. Barnes, another blank. Traore was benched. Rafinha making it through here. And then my 2 big boys up front. Almost a quarter of my entire budget got me 6 points, including captaincy. And I tried... And I've said, and I'm disappointed in myself because I said I started the season with only 2 premiums, right? Because I think 3 and 4 premiums, they affect your squad too much. And I didn't, and I saw Ronaldo, I thought I'll get Lukaku in early. You know, big, shiny, new objects in the Premier League. It cost me a quarter of my entire budget, almost a quarter of my entire budget. And to get 6 points, including your captain, is exactly why you should not do that. Plus, effective ownership as well. So I will go now. Ignore that. I've gone from like 580k to 925k. A huge drop, to be honest. But let's have a look at the drafts I'm going to do. So we'll just catch up with the chat and I'll explain the players I'm going to go with. So hi Ace, welcome back, buddy. Is Hugh at the back going to keep Trent though? Yes, it is. Hey Aaron, welcome back, buddy. Vignesh, would you take a hit to sell Shaw? Already done Trent to Aspilicueta, Jota and the Metro bench. No, I wouldn't, because apparently Shaw was pictured training today. He was ill, not injured. So I wouldn't take a hit to take him out. I know he's lost 0.1 in value already, but I just don't think it's worth to take a hit to take Shaw out when he could play. And this is a week where people are thinking about selling Trent, and City playing against Liverpool. You might be tempted with a Chelsea defender, but I just think taking a hit for Shaw out when he could play, I wouldn't. I don't know. I just won't feel comfortable doing that. Hey, FPL Westlife, welcome back, buddy. Alonso, Rudy, Diaz, Cancelo, Edison, Toney, all empty as the 50% thoughts to go big. I would just stick with Livermento. If not, then Toney. So let me So like I said, this is not my draft right now. This is my team right now, but it was to make value. So let me show you some of the drafts and things that I've been looking at, the ones that I like. So just bear with me a second as I sort of go in and copy some of these. I could show the image, but unfortunately it doesn't really pick up. A lot of these have Decore and Saw out for Brownhill, who, by the way, I think is solid for 4.4 million as your second or third as your third bench player, and Smith Rowe. A lot of these are based around me having a 5-2-3 or a 5-3-2 formation or a 4-4-2. So I'll show you some of my 5 at the back formations. Let me just go to Arsenal and Smith Rowe, and this brings in Raul Jimenez. Now, I love Raul Jimenez. If you've watched any of my stuff from previous seasons, you'll know I call him the Mexican marksman. I absolutely adore him. I'm just not sure he's worth it because my plan is to go to Toney. So I'm thinking if I just get Toney in now and save myself the hassle and just deal with him playing against Chelsea on my bench next week. But this is an example of something that I would possibly be going with. Just finished with him. Good timing, mate. Yeah, welcome back, buddy. So here you can see Guaita, Foster, Christensen and Rudiger is that double Chelsea defense. Trent when he's fit. Cancelo and Diaz. So it is double Chelsea. It is double Man City. This won't surprise you guys. I've mentioned going big at the back. I've mentioned going expensive at the back. And every week it would be... I've said this before. I've said this on Fantasy Football Scout. I said it on my own channel. If I can start every single game week, especially after this game week when Liverpool have finished playing against Man City, if I start every single game week and I'm looking at 2 Chelsea defenders, 2 City defenders, and 1 Liverpool defender, I'm happy. I'm happy with that back 5. And then when people, and again, I'll repeat what I said on my video from this week and what's on Scout before. When people say it's 5 at the back is the least flexible one, I completely disagree because we're looking at players like Christensen who are 5 million. Right, and we're looking at Rudiger, who's 5.6, Cancelo 6, Diaz 6. But if you're going to get a decent midfielder or people that you want to rotating out or using in midfield, they're 7 to 8 million plus midfielders. Or if you want a striker, it's 7.5 million plus. So when you're talking about flexibility, and again, I bring into the fact that you've got 1 free transfer every week, that if I just play every single game week with 5 defenders, Salah, Antonio, and Lukaku, right? So that's 5, goalkeeper 6, Salah, Antonio, Lukaku. That's 9 players every game week that I'm happy with. They're top quality, the potential is there, and I only have to consider every single week 2 players. And I'll have 2 decent bench options, right? So when we're talking about flexibility, I only have 1 free transfer to make, and I've got 2 positions to focus on. So it's 50-50. But when people play like a 3-4-3, and yeah, they'll have Trent, Cancelo, and Alonso, or Trent, Cancelo, or Trent, Diaz, a combination of City, Chelsea, Liverpool defenders, right? They have a 3-4-3. But then you look at their midfield, and they're playing Salah, and then they're playing like 3 other midfielders between 6.5 and 8.5 that aren't that incredible, that you're not that hot and cold. And then they've got 3 or 4 players in the starting 11 that they want to trade in and out all the time. Okay, this player's hot now, and my other 3 players, my other 3 or 4 7+ million midfielders or forwards are doing all right. Okay, 2 of them have gone off the boil. I've only got 1 free transfer to sort it out. So like, for example, if we just have a quick look at the team that I'm giving up. I've played 4-4-2, right? So for a while, I've had players like Barnes, like Traore, that have just been cold. So I would have to use 1 transfer to take out a cold player, but I've still got another cold player left in. But if I'm playing 5 at the back, and it's 2 Chelsea, 2 City, and a Liverpool, I don't have to ever focus on that. And I'll only ever have 2 players in my starting 11 that I'm thinking, he needs to go. Or I'm going to put him on the bench this week, swap him out, and then I'll transfer him out next week. So, yeah. And again, just to point out, this is just a value building squad. Just gonna point that out. Let me catch you with the chat. Hey Shui, welcome back, buddy. Pinnakin. I would bet he's injured, isn't he? Look at that. He's carrying a knock. Unbelievable. Hip injury. Hey Fincox, how you doing, buddy? Shaw and Jota to Rudiger and Salah for -4, then Wildcard in 8. No, I will not take a hit. And I know I said I don't back newly promoted sides, but I am looking at Brentford and I'm looking at Toney. I think he could be fantastic for 6.3. I've got Salah right now. It is purely because I'm hoping he goes up another 0.1 and I can earn a bit of value on him. That is the only reason he is in my team right now. I understand he's got Leeds, but you're going to take a -4 because he's got Leeds. Then he's got Liverpool, Everton. Southampton's all right. Arsenal isn't that easy. United, Leicester might have sorted themselves out by then. Chelsea and City. Not for me. Not interested in Watford. They should have got beaten by Newcastle. Thoughts on Saint Maximin? He's in my team right now, and he is massively in my thoughts. And then going to... Okay. So, when I put some of the drafts that I've made, they're all pretty similar, right? They're all pretty similar. So, now we're back on here. Let me go back. A lot of my drafts essentially has Smith Rowe and Brownhill, right? Of Burnley. Just as second and third sub kind of thing. Let me just pop him in here. Or rotation. So Smith Rowe can play, Gallagher play. Or I can transfer him out wherever I want, right? The only options now that I have to think about and consider is it's Saint Maximin against Toney against Jimenez. That's so Antonio is nailed. So if we whack up Notepad, right? Let's go. Let's talk about the nailed lads, right? So nailed is Trent, Cancelo, Diaz. I'd be good if I could spell. Oh my god. Rudiger, Rafinha, Salah, Parku, and Antonio, right? Oh my god. It's been a long day, guys. That doesn't look right. Antonio. These are my nailed boys, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They're my nailed lads. The lads, right? So when I'm chopping and changing, the considerations I've got, it's Saint Maximin against Jimenez against Toney. So we'll start with the forward position before we discuss the big players at the back, right? So essentially, long term, I always say when it's long term and it's your wild card, it should be long term. With game week 7, you're not going to use your second wild card for like 20 game weeks, right? Just as a broad example. So for me, I will make a squad that is prepared for COVID, for cup games, for rotation. I'll have 15 playing players, right? I will. Because it's a wild card. You don't have, once you've played it, like I've been not reckless, but I've taken punts on, for example, having Lukaku and Ronaldo and Salah and Trent in the same squad. I took that risk because I knew I could wild card out of it. But when you wild card, for me, you've got to have a team and a squad with a good long run of fixtures and options. Bench options. People will have bare bones benches, you know, at the start of the season because you risk it and then you wildcard out. I don't see the point of wildcarding and then having a bench of like 2 defenders at 4 million that might get dropped or not play anymore. That's just me. That's my play style. Everyone's different. People will, and I've tweeted about this already. People are considering getting Ramsdale as their 4.5 million goalkeeper. I get it. But they're backing him up with a 4 million goalkeeper like Foster. And both of them aren't nailed. So you wildcard in with, and there's going to be game weeks you're not going to have a goalkeeper. You're going to be playing with 10 men. Now, I'm not saying that goalkeepers are fantastic, but a clean sheet is still going to get you 6 points and potential bonus. And it's still 2 or 3 points a week that you're throwing away. For what? So I have a draft with Ramsdale in, but he's with Guaita just in case. A draft I'm actually leaning towards, I'm spending 10.5 million on goalkeepers because I can afford that. Because again, we're talking about points, we're talking about value. So when I'm looking at my defenders and I'm playing a 5.6 million Rudiger, a 6 million Cancelo, a 6.1 million Diaz, 5 million Christensen, I'm playing these cheap players, I can afford to splash out on a goalkeeper. Because people are playing 3-4-3 or 3-5-2, and if they want a half-decent midfielder, it's costing them at least 7.5 million. If they want a decent striker, it's costing them at least 7.5 million plus. Unless they're playing 3 up front, and then you're going to spend at least 6.3 million. There is no striker better or cheaper than the defenders for 6 million or less. Toney's the closest thing at 6.3, that's why he'll be in my side. So, coming back to this side, all that boils down to is, do I get Toney now or later? Because I've said before, I'm not a huge fan of backing newly promoted strikers, but the run that they're going on, the way that Brentford are playing, I've had Raya, the goalkeeper. I shouldn't have took him out. I should have kept him. I had him for 4.5 million. I swapped him for Guaita because that's how I was thinking. But he's against West Ham. Granted, West Ham are playing fantastic football, but they are not keeping clean sheets. And he's on penalties. He's the talisman. Leaning towards him for 6.3 million. Get him in now. Bench him for Chelsea, because I'll have I've got a full squad. Have him as my first sub. And then he's got Leicester, who need to sort their lives out because they're playing terribly. They've got Burnley, Norwich, Newcastle, Everton, Spurs, Leeds, Watford. United concede goals, unless they sort themselves out by then. And then Southampton. Bearing in mind, this team scored 3 goals against Liverpool. So do I just get him in now? So it's Toney against Saint Maximin against Raul Jimenez. Saint Maximin is absolutely on fire. He is on fire. 6'2", 6'5", 8'8". He didn't even score. He's a striker. He's a forward in FPL. He didn't even score. He got an assist and he got 3 bonus. That's pretty impressive. And with Wilson still out for at least one more game, it just boils down to the next 3 matches. So he's got Wolves, Spurs, and Palace. Palace are improving. Spurs can be hot or cold. And he's got Wolves next, who, granted, have found it difficult to score. But defensively, Wolves have been particularly strong. And I'm not fond, and it's a reason why I'm leaning towards Toney ahead of Raul and ahead of Saint Maximin. I'm not fond of backing strikers playing for teams that haven't really won yet. So I know he's getting the goals, but loss, draw, loss, draw. And it's Newcastle. They're not exactly the most beautiful of attacking teams, but he's the talisman. He's the one that's leading the line. There's no Wilson, but he's a transfer waiting to happen. The third choice is Raul Jimenez. He's finally scored. He's not been rotated out yet. He's 7.5 million. And I said for the next 3 fixtures before I switch to Toney. So it's either get Toney now or have St. Maximin for 3 fixtures or Raul for 3 fixtures. He's got Newcastle, who are like the worst defence alongside Leeds in the Premier League so far this season at home. It's huge. I think Raul Jimenez will do something this game week. But he's 1.2 million more expensive than Toney, a player I want to bring in. I don't mind having in this game week, a player that I want to bench once in the next 10 game weeks. So do I just get Toney now and hope that he can keep up with Raul for 3 game weeks and then it'll have been worth it? I love Raul Jimenez. Fantastic player. I hope he gets over mentally the horrible head fracture that he had. I think that goal has been a huge relief, weight off his shoulders. But I am still not... He took his goal extremely well, but I am still not convinced by the attacking threat of Wolves. And for 7.5 million, for a striker that I'm penciling in to transfer out, I get it. He's at home against Newcastle, but I think away against Villa are not easy. Leeds away right now. So Leeds and Newcastle, the worst 2 defenses right now. Sorry, Norwich is the worst, then Newcastle and Leeds. And he plays Newcastle and Leeds in the next 2. Leeds will have, like, the fact, for example, Luke Ayling back by this time, should be back. You know, so it's like 3 weeks away from now, this game. They might have sorted themselves out as well, hopefully. So do I bring in Jimenez based on what Leeds are right now, or do I look ahead and think of what Leeds can become again? So I would be getting Jimenez now, straight away for Newcastle, which is fantastic. It's right now. But I don't know what Leeds are going to be like by the end of October. And like I said, he's 1.2 million more expensive. And he's the difference between me having a Christensen or a Diaz. So again, it comes down to the value of the player and what it can contribute to the team. So for me, in my opinion, the one that wins this one is Toney. Again, I'm not going to confirm transfers because I'll keep saying it. This squad that I have right now is value building. And I need some of these players to go up just one more time. So if Livramento goes up one more time, if Alonso goes up one more time, if in my original team, Sarr and Doucouré go up one more time, and St. Maximin goes up one more time, I will bank all of that money. So I'm not, just to be clear as to why I've got this. Let me just catch up with the chat. So for me, I'm going to go with Toney. Let me just then go with this. Bigger back, all of the board. Yes, Scar Sports, we are going to go there fully. Thinking him as an ASM, you want to free up some money. I've got a back. I would go, because St. Maximin has done it this season. Jimenez has got 1 goal. So I'd go Toney number 1, St. Maximin number 2, Jimenez number 3. You've wildcard as well, but just now Saka. Now, this is it with Arsenal, right? Smith Rowe is in for me. I understand. But this is not because I really like Arsenal. This is not because I think they're fantastic. This is because they've got a decent run and he's only 5.3 million and he might come in. He'll be my second sub or first sub or swap around with Gallagher or transfer him out for someone around it. I'm not getting Smith Rowe and I'm not spending like 6.2 million on Saka because it's Arsenal. Like, I'm not massively convinced. Look at what they've done so far this season. Right, they've beaten Spurs 3-1, who are playing shocking football right now. And well done, they beat Burnley 1-0, who were one of the worst defences and had a terrible start to the season. And they beat Norwich at home 1-0. That is not impressive. They've had one good game week against Spurs, and then suddenly everyone wants Saka and Smith Rowe. Like, I don't understand the bandwagoning. I really don't. He's in because of value. And I'm saving some money. That's it. Simple as that. So Saka or ESR, I've got to say Smith Rowe ESR because I'm not looking to start him. I think if you're starting, again, it comes back to why I'm going big 5 at the back or at least a big 4 at the back, and it purely comes down to value for money, and I just don't see that value there. He's a great bench option, can come in and out of the side. But if I'm starting every single week with Saka or Smith Rowe in my starting 11 every week, I'm worried. I don't think that's a strong starting 11. Curtis Jones with a scream against Brentford and assist in the Champions League the other day. He's 5 million. Any chance you consider him in your... Westside, yeah. Yeah, you could consider. I had been considering Harvey Elliott until he got that horrible leg thing. But the problem with Curtis Jones is there's not enough upside for it. And if you do want to jump on double Liverpool defense or Salah, Jota, or even jump on Firmino, for example, you're wasting a Liverpool space, I think, on Curtis Jones. Schwade sent his team on Discord. Sure, I'm absolutely useless at Discord, mate. Seriously. Let me load it up and I'll check it. Hey, Mark. What's the name, mate? Just checking. Trent is currently red, so he's immune to a price drop. That's a really good point. I'm not too sure. Maybe he is. I thought it, for some reasons, it was... I thought for some reasons it would get locked. I'm going to wait. I don't think I'm going to sell him. I think I'll just bench him for a week. Because the thing is, he is still 7.6 million. So for anyone wildcarding, make sure you at least have some money in the bank. Because if he doesn't drop, you can't buy him back. And I think that is even worse. Swanee has gone for for those with Ronaldo and Lukaku frontline. I've had it for the last 2 or 3 game weeks. Don't do it. Really, effective ownership. You can't captain both of them. You're always going to have either Salah or Ronaldo or Lukaku. You're always going to have 2 of those players working against your team. You're just never going to rise in the rank. And yeah, by the way, guys, the hacking this week on fantasy on FPL has been absolutely shocking. Swanee, one of the guys in our community, got hacked. Fortunately, he got to play his wildcard, but the guy had made 63 transfers. So he's been forced to play his wildcard. But yeah, be careful with your third party where you're putting your passwords, and have a different password for FPL. Just change your password to something completely different. I'm just looking at your team now, Shui, and it's so funny. You just Pinnock all the way, mate. Pinnock all the way. 5-3-2. Like it. No Lukaku. Louise Armstrong. Armstrong is an option for me. I've actually ignored him, guys. I have actually ignored Armstrong. I said I believe that Armstrong at Southampton is going to be incredible value. 6 million. He's already got a couple of returns. And Southampton have had a really, really difficult start to the season. Look at the fixtures. All right, ignore Chelsea, game week 7. Leeds, Burnley, Watford, Villa, Norwich. 8-12. And again, the only reason that he's not in my draft and he's not in my team is because I'm going to go for Toney, because Toney's been doing the business already. I don't want a wild card. I know you're supposed to get players in before they bang, right? And he has been exciting. He takes lots of shots. Southampton are getting better, but I've not seen anything from Southampton's attack for me to get him in. I have seen things from Mbuemo and I have seen things from Toney that make me want to get them in. So and it's another reason why I'm not looking towards Jimenez, because yes, he's got 1 goal, but he's just scored 1 goal. That's not enough to twist my arm into getting into the starting squad. And Loris has not been good. True, that is 100% true. Toney's better for medium to long term. Yep, Laser, I agree. That's why he's in. Same answer. Could have had 2 more assists, but Newcastle players can't score, which is an issue. When is Wilson back? Not this game, the game after. Toney does open doors. Seriously thinking of getting Cancelo to go with Edison and Diaz instead of 2 Chelsea defenders. So I'm going to tell you now, guys, that I'm looking at I think it was a 4-3-3 with Mendy and Rudiger. I'll show you the draft that I'm talking about. I'm building towards showing you these different kinds of drafts, but they do basically keep Brownhill and Smith Rowe. The midfield basically doesn't change, guys. The midfield basically stays as Gallagher, Smith Rowe, Rafinha, Salah, and Brownhill, because I'm looking to either play 2 of them every week or 3 of them every week. And if I play 4-3-3, I can get a midfielder up to like 7.5 million. So yeah, just to let you guys know. Now, it's a further warning, guys. Please remember that some players go away. The South Americans, and the Central Americans and people like that, they go away for qualifiers, right? So just keep that in mind. So when you've got Edison, right? And I know people don't like spending money on goalkeepers and having a bench option, but just be wary that the likes of Martinez and Edison and all those guys could miss. Now, they've just said, I think it was today, that if players have been double vaccinated and they get back in time, they can play. But there's rumors going around that only like 50% of Premier League players are being vaccinated. So they've said Emi Martinez of Aston Villa has been double vaccinated. So when he goes, if he gets back in time, he can play. Just be wary about that. So if Edison's not been vaccinated and he goes and plays for Brazil, he comes back, he can't play. He'll miss a game for Man City. I think only read you to suspension video cards. That's a good point, Wes. Yeah, Bamford dropped and he was injured, not suspended. Jimenez did take that goal. He looked, big celebration, but that doesn't mean that he's going to get more chances in the future. So many good low press options. Why not skip Ronaldo like that? So adults in denial. I have had Lukaku and Ronaldo, and it's led to me having a game week of like 35 points because he got 6 points, including captaincy between them. Not worth it because the rest of your squad's decimated. I'm disappointed in myself because I warned everyone pre-season, and I started the season myself by not having 3 premiums and by warning everyone that, look, you do this and you're going to have a decimated squad. I ignored my own advice. I had Salah, Trent, Lukaku, and Ronaldo because everything was all shiny, shiny, happy, happy. Effective ownership killed me. I captained Ronaldo, and, you know, like I said earlier, a quarter of my budget was gone on my 2 strikers, and they did nothing. And you can only captain one of them. So if you've got Salah, Ronaldo, Lukaku, you're always going to have 2 players effective ownership working against you. Would you ever consider getting another keeper? Yeah, Aaron, Mendy. I'm getting... It's probably going to be Mendy and Rudiger. We'll come on to the defense. I just wanted to catch up with the chat and explain my forward decision. So pretty much right now, my front line, sorted. The midfield barely changes. So we go now to the defense and the goalkeepers. This is obviously the big one. I've got 2.4 million in the bank. So we'll get into this in a sec. Didn't have money for a better attacker. You're dropping out of like I was free money. Good. You want to upgrade MacArthur? You'd only have 1 million. Could go Gallagher. I think Zaha could be a good option if you've got the extra money to spend, by the way. If you're not interested. If Gallagher's a bit too cheap for your taste. Hey, Peter, you nearly got Armstrong last week. Went with Jimenez instead. Watched Southampton last week versus Wolves. Armstrong was anonymous. Toney much better value. Yep. And that's it. Like, I think Armstrong... Southampton have had a really tough start to the season. And they were near the bottom of the fixture ticker, right? And they do have some good fixtures. But sometimes if you have such a difficult start, being defensive all the time, and then you get the easy games, it's difficult to completely change your mental focus to be the better team. So, again, I want to get players who are not just good value, but who... And you do want to get players before everyone else gets them, right? But you also do want to have players that have done something. And Armstrong hasn't really done enough for me. Same for Jimenez. Yes, I get it. He's got a goal. He scored. And it's fantastic. What a wonderful thing for him. But he's still not done enough for me to... Wolves haven't showed me. I've had Traore. I've had Cody. I've been banging the Wolves drum since game week 2. They're way up there with shots and attempts and all of that lot. They just haven't delivered. Brentford have. So Toney wins that battle for me up front. Raya, Foster... Aspie, Michelle, Rudiger, Duffy, Livramento, Salah, Rafinha, Gallagher, Walker, got enough money in the bank to get Trent back in when he's fit. Seems good to me, random. Seems good. Serious question, Kane, you mean Vardy? All depends on money. Now, I actually tried to fit Heung-min Son into this, into a 4-3-3, because then I'd just have Salah and Son and a cheap midfielder, and then this front 3 line. So, yeah. What midfielder can you have with 9.4 in the bank? You've already have... Okay, so Victor, before people shout and scream at me, keep your eye on Sancho. Because I think he's 9 million now, Sancho? So if you don't want to spend like 12.7 on Ronaldo, you don't think Pogba's going to stay playing left wing at 7.8 million. You think Green was limited at 7.7. But for 9 million and the money that they paid for him and he's 2.1% owned, we've seen little glimpses of that ability that he's got. When he bangs, he is going to be massive. When he plays, I mean, they spent a lot of money on Sancho. He's got, you know, if he gets that form back that he's had for the likes of Dortmund, right? When he can play like we know he can play, for 9 million, this man could be huge. I'm not saying getting him now. I'm not saying get him on a wild card this week. But I am saying keep an eye on him, because when he starts getting 90 minutes under his belt, and as soon as he gets that first assist, and then he back to back gets assists and goals, and when he starts making... Because Greenwood and Ronaldo don't mix. I watched the game, and you could see the frustration, not just from Ronaldo, but from other teammates. You could see the frustration that Greenwood just shoots. So in FPL, if you've got Greenwood, you're laughing, because you're like, oh, he just shoots all the time. He's never going to get an assist. But you could see that it just doesn't work. Ronaldo down the middle, Greenwood on the side, he cuts inside, shoots, waste of a chance. But when Sancho gets there and he becomes the assist for Ronaldo, he could be a key this year. 2.1% owned. The only issue is going to be is that when this guy starts to bang, his ownership is going to just skyrocket because he's a Manchester United player. Have you considered Manquillo? He's been getting the first team in Newcastle, only 4 million. No, I'm a big at the back guy. Thoughts on going cheap alternatives for Chelsea and City defense like Walker and Christensen, rest of the defense is right. Yes, George. I have had Walker and Cancelo in my side, Christensen as well. People say now. I'll just get you with the chat and then we'll go on to the defense and the goalkeepers. Thoughts on Vardy? Webber? I like Vardy. He's got history. He's got good fixtures. Leicester playing poor, but he's still getting the goals. It's just about money. Like, who are you sacrificing for Vardy? That would be my question. This week you're sticking with Ings, but after the international break, you like Toney. Remember, Mark, he's got Chelsea next week. Matt's getting Heung-min Son. Nice. Ronaldo can get him in Villa and Newcastle. He can switch. I still think Son's going to be fine. I love Son. I had him at the start of the season. People said I was looking to get his points. I don't care. Oh, cheers, Victor. But yeah, so I just want to point out, though, Victor, that I'm not saying get Sancho right now, okay? But I am saying that as soon as he gets those minutes for 9 million, I think he could be huge. Because for me, again, so let's talk about the defense now. Why am I going to go expensive at back? I've talked about value. I've talked about points. Forwards, you've either got... So Antonio, I think, is like nailed for everyone, unless you want to take a punt. But he's done nothing that has made people think he doesn't deserve to be in your team. Yeah, Arjun, anyone can join. The league's in the link below description. So you're either going to go... You're going to back Antonio with a big guy like Lukaku or Ronaldo, like 11 million plus, right? Or you're going to go down 8 million down, but you're probably getting a 7.5 million-ish forward, right? That's a lot of money, but that's your front three. But when you look at midfielders, right? In the past, we've had quite a lot of good options between 6 to 8.5 million, right? This year, they're all like 5.5 to 7 million. So I'm just not convinced by midfielders. I am convinced by defenders. So we'll have a look, right? You can't see because WordPad's over there. But if I just scroll up and move my head. So Salah is the top midfielder. No surprises. He's probably in your team, right? Ben Rama's second. People are getting rid of Ben Rama. Sarr is third. Watford's about to run into a bunch of difficult fixtures. Doucouré's fourth. Pogba, Greenwood, Gray. Expensive Mane. Townsend. Bruno Fernandes. Gallagher, Son. Kovacic, the Chelsea midfielder. Diogo Jota, Zaha. Like, it's... The midfield section is complete Wild West right now. If I would have told you, right, that the top 5 midfielders in game week 7 would be number 1 Salah, you'd nod and say, well, yeah, of course Salah is up there. What an idiot. Okay. It's also Benrahma, Sarr, Doucouré, Pogba. If I'd have told you that in game week 1, you'd have said I was crazy. Then it's Gray, Mane, Townsend. Townsend and Gray of Everton have more points than Bruno Fernandes and Heung-min Son. So another reason why I'm going more expensive and trusting in the defense is that when we look at the defenders, and I tell you that the best defenders are from Manchester City and Liverpool with a cheeky Brentford in there, there's no surprise. If I told you in game week 1, Cancelo, Alonso with minutes, Diaz, Pinnock from Brentford, wow, that's a surprise. Trent Alexander-Arnold, Rudiger, Van Dijk are the top 7. The only surprise for you here would be Pinnock at Brentford. So another reason that I would go bigger in defense is that I am looking at long-term proof, long-term evidence of players that have delivered consistently. Cancelo is a player who, with minutes, with Man City, is a great asset. Alonso is the same. Diaz, Trent, Rudiger, Van Dijk, Laporte, all up in this top 10 list. Even a little bit lower in the top 15, you've got Azpilicueta and Walker, right? These are players that over the years have consistently delivered. You can trust them. If we go back to our forwards, Antonio, Vardy, Jesus, Saint Maximin, Morpay, Toney, Ings up there is good, Lukaku, Cavalier. Again, forwards aren't as bad as midfielders in terms of how weird the standings are right now in the first 6 game weeks gone. But midfielders are just so unpredictable right now. So unpredictable that why do people pump their money into the likes of Sarr and Doucouré and Gray and Townsend and Greenwood and Pogba, players that have not exactly delivered consistently for years? Thoughts on St. Maximin? I talked about him earlier. He would be my second option. He would be my fourth option. So Lukaku, Antonio, Toney, and then St. Maximin. He just misses out for me. Arjun, no, there are no prizes. Tempted by Bailey in the long run. He's only 6.4 due to injury. So again, we look at players like that, having punt on players that are worth like 6.4. That's more expensive than all the defenders except Trent and Van Dijk. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Do you think Alonso will play tomorrow? Don't know. No one knows. Unless there's a leak, whoever says Alonso will play or Chilwell will play is a liar. They can do predicted lineups. By all means, do predicted lineups. But if anyone tells you Alonso is nailed for tomorrow, is a liar. Do I think Buendia will come good? Possibly, but again, I'm just not. Why would I go towards a 6.4 midfielder who has one double-digit haul and has missed 2 out of 6 games? When I can just buy a defender. Thoughts on Torres? No, I said it the whole time. I was never on the Torres bandwagon. Never. Because, again, it's the same thing, right? I said earlier about Saka. People all jumping. Oh, Arsenal, I'm wildcard. I'm bringing in double Arsenal. This is amazing. They've had one good game against Spurs. Everyone did that for Torres when he got one massive haul against Arsenal. But then forgot that the week before, they won 5-0 and he got nothing and played 60 minutes. And then the week after, they played Leicester. And again, he got hauled off after 63 minutes and got nothing. And then hasn't played the last 2 games. It's chasing points. There was nothing that made me think that Torres was going to stay in that starting 11. Nothing at all. Going big defensive as well. Should you get rid of Luca Digne? On a wild card, yes. For a transfer, no. Unless you've got nothing else to do. But I mean, if you've not got Trent and you've got Livramento, for example, playing against Chelsea, I wouldn't be making that move personally. All right, so defense. No, Alonso. Diaz comes in. Now, the thing I said about playing a 4-3-3 or 4-4-2, this man right here. Now, I know defensively they're not fantastic. So again, it just makes me think of going 5 at the back. But if 5 at the back is just too much for you to handle, you just can't deal with playing 5 defenders every week. You can't be arsed looking for a clean sheet. This is the guy to unlock a 4 at the back. Because he looks like he's going to play basically 90 minutes every week. They have got a couple of clean sheets already. He's incredibly attacking. And I got it for 4.1. Maybe you got it for 4 million. You can get it for 4.2. He is the best budget value defender. He's got Chelsea this week. And like I said about Armstrong, Leeds, Burnley, Watford, Villa, Norwich. Liverpool, you bench him. Leicester, Brighton, you probably play him. Arsenal away, probably bench him. Palace, Brentford. By that point, your team might have changed, right? But if you just cannot deal with a 5 at the back, Livramento, seriously, If he sits second, third sub for you every single week, playing 90 minutes, and if you watch him play, you know what I'm talking about. He's the key to give you a really sweet 4-3-3 or 4-4-2. But you're probably going to go 4-3-3, let's be honest. Because like I said, midfield is Wild West. We don't know who's going to bang and who's going to bust. But if you're playing three strikers, you've got Lukaku or Ronaldo or both, and Antonio, and your third striker being a Jimenez or a Bamford or a Toney or whoever, you're happy with that team every single week. Thoughts on holding Reece James until he returns? Again, if you're not playing a wild card, I would hold Reece James, but I don't think he's going to play now. He could be back after the international break. But the reason why I've just took Alonso out of my team is because I'll keep Guaita. So I said earlier, I'm going to spend the money on goalkeepers. I don't care what people say. I don't care if you say, oh, it's points on your bench. I don't care if you tell me it's a waste of 0.5 million. But Mendy goes in here. And this is a team that I would have. This is the one that is pulling me at the moment. So I do see huge upsides to Alonso, Chilwell, and James. I do. We just don't know. We say Pep Roulette, but Thomas Tuchel is just as bad as rotating his players than anyone else. So when I'm saying, like, if you get Christensen at 5 million, I think that is a steal. 5 million for Christensen, I think is fantastic. Because if he doesn't play, it's 5 million. He's cheaper than Smith Rowe, right? So if he's only missed one game so far this season out of 6, he got rotated out against Villa at home. Granted, that was a clean sheet and he missed out. That's the way it goes. It was his turn to get rotated. But for 5 million, if he doesn't play, he probably doesn't come on. And then you've got Smith Rowe, who's more expensive than him. So it's all about what you guys want to risk. What do you want to risk in your team? So if you're sat there and you've got Alonso and you've got Rudiger and you've got Christensen or James, whoever, no one is nailed in that Chelsea side. Now, we know they play 3 centre-backs and 2 wing-backs. So you know it's Alonso or Chilwell. But you've got to know that whichever one you pick, one of them's not going to play. And there's no saying who's going to play the next game. And you're going to have to deal with that if you take that risk. People seem to agree that Rudiger is the most nailed Chelsea centre-back. But here's something that might put a spanner in the works, guys. It looks like he could reject a new contract and leave at the end of the season for free. Keep your eye on that. So Christensen could become the main man at 5 million. But Thiago Silva, you can see he missed the first 2 games, came back, and then he 45 minutes, 90 minutes, and he comes on because there was an injury, right, to Reece James. Azpilicueta, people say now, Reece James is out, so Azpilicueta will go right wing back. This is not nailed. He usually plays right centre back, and Reece James would play right wing back. When there's no Reece James, or they play against a more difficult team, like a City or a Liverpool, for example, Azpilicueta becomes the right wing back, and they drop Reece James. This has happened. But against a team like Southampton, where they want to attack at home, in my opinion, there are 3 options that can happen. One is he does play right wing back. The second is he drops into right centre back and they play Hudson-Odoi at right wing back, which they've done before. And the third option, and the option that people are not going to like, is that it's his turn to get rotated out. Now, Alonso came off at halftime against Juventus and Azpilicueta came off, but Rudiger didn't. So again, don't be surprised if this is the game week that Rudiger gets dropped. So the reason why I'm looking right now at having Mendy and Rudiger instead of Rudiger and Alonso, Rudiger and Christensen, Chilwell and James, whatever, is, and why I've got Guaita. Guaita's there just in case Mendy gets rotated out, because Mendy could lose a game to Kepa. Now, he only missed the game against Spurs because he was injured from the Champions League, right? But don't be surprised if, for some reason, he gets swapped out for Kepa. That's why Guaita's in there. And it's the same thing. And people, when I've mentioned this on Scout, and I've mentioned it here, and people just will not accept it when I say that there is every single possibility that Lukaku doesn't play this game week. He has a rest. I think he'll play, and then he's got an international break to recover. I get it. But if you think Lukaku is going to play 38 games out of 38 games in the Premier League, well, 37 because he missed game week 1, he hadn't transferred, I think that's wrong. I just think that's wrong. Plain and simple. If I go back and I swap this, and Livramento, this would be my big 5 at the back. Again, we go to a Chelsea player, and I can get Alonso back in here. And then this would be my big 5 at the back. So again, I'm not moving around the midfield, and this is my bigger 5 at the back, where it will be Guaita in goal, Alonso, Rudiger, Trent, Cancelo, Diaz, and then Toney, Antonio, Lukaku up front, Salah in midfield, with one of Gallagher, Smith Rowe, and Brownhill probably third. So I basically be playing 5-2-3 every week. That might put people off. But again, Alonso gets dropped. Smith Rowe comes in and I play 4-4-2 anyway. So part of me just thinks to not have Alonso, and I get it. I won't get that upside. I won't get that opportunity of these like big double-digit hauls, like a 15-pointer and a 10-pointer. I get it. It all depends on what you want to risk, on what you want to play. And for me, if I just have Mendy playing every week, at least Mendy or Rudiger, to get a part of that clean sheet, then it could be worth it. This goes to Livramento. But something like this is what I'm looking at right now. So earlier, people mentioned things like, what about Kyle Walker? I think that's a great option because Walker's the right back, Cancelo's currently the left back, and I don't see both of them being dropped for a game. So we know that Man City rotate. Diaz is probably one of the more nailed-on players. He can get rotated times too. Laporte looks like the more likely partner for him at centre-back, but again, not nailed. When we talk about Man City, we think Edison is the most safe, and we think Diaz is the most safe, right? So that's why they're in there. But if you want to double up on City and save a bit of money, like 0.6 million, I think a Walker Cancelo double up can be pretty decent because I can't see both of them getting dropped. Because if Walker doesn't play, that means Cancelo's playing right back. So if you want the nailed on, Diaz is the one there, and Cancelo is your exciting one. Plays right wing back or left wing back, or more like right wing and left wing. But if you want at least a 50-50 shot and you want to save 0.6 million, I see nothing wrong at all with a Cancelo Walker double up. Because usually Walker will play right back, Cancelo will play left back. And if Walker doesn't play, I can't see a team where Cancelo and Walker are both rotated out. Because that means they have to play... Well, Mendy is in prison, and Zinchenko's currently injured. Ake can play left back. Maybe Laporte can play left back. Maybe Stones can play right back. But that is stretching it. They are not full backs. They are certainly not wing backs. So if you want to save a bit of money and again have a full back, don't go Cancelo Diaz. Go Diaz. Go Cancelo Walker. That could work. And that's something that I've also thought about if I want to save 0.6 million and keep that in the bank to bump up a player like Smith Rowe or bump up a player like Rafinha or bump up a player like Gallagher or bump up a player like Toney. I'll have 0.7 million in the bank to do so. So that is another way to do it. Don't go Diaz, go Walker. And that's purely because I don't see Walker and Cancelo getting dropped. Because I have no idea who the fullbacks would be. So if Cancelo gets dropped, Walker is still probably right back. If Walker gets dropped, Cancelo is probably going to go right back to cover him. catch up on the chat. Got Trent, Shaw, Simicast, Livermore, and Ailing, 2 free transfers. What to do? I think Shaw's going to be fine. Simicast needs to go. Livermento's fine. Ailing will be back after the break. Tendai, are you just thinking about your defense? If so, Simicast has got to go, and maybe Ailing's got to go. Is Grealish a good pick? Hey, Notorious. Is Grealish a good pick on a wild card? I had Grealish. I started the season with him. And you can see he's got 24 points this season. And he's only got 1 goal, 1 assist. And they were both in 5-0ers. Here's the problem. If I was to get any attacking asset from Manchester City, it'd be this man here, Gabriel Jesus. When I've watched him this season, he's been absolutely fantastic. He's been so good when I've watched him. He's just 8.6 million. He's too expensive for me. But 8 million Grealish. I mean, and here's the thing, right? It's been great to have Grealish when I've had him because look, 90, 74. He came off. He'd already got a return, getting a break. 90 minutes, 90 minutes, 90 minutes, 86 minutes, and he also played in the Champions League. He's been the most nailed-on player so far for Manchester City, but he's only got 24 points. That worries me. He still looks fantastic. He should be getting more points, but 8 million for a player who's playing basically 90 minutes for Manchester City and not getting the returns isn't good. Livermento or Tomiyasu of Arsenal? I'm going to say Livermento. I said I think he's the budget defender to get. And he looks so good. He's so attacking. Is it worth keeping Bamford and Trent for a week or transfer any of them out of the channel? Hey, thanks, Mugs. I wouldn't keep Bamford. I'd keep Trent. I wouldn't keep Bamford. You could go down to Toney or Jimenez. So today we've looked at Toney, we've looked at Jimenez, and we looked at Saint Maximin. And over the next 3 game weeks, all 3 of them look nice. Toney long term because he's got Chelsea next week, but after that he's wonderful. I wouldn't be going for Bamford personally. Thoughts on Ward-Prowse? I've looked at Ward-Prowse. And he's on free kicks as well. And oh, what a free kick taker he is, by the way. And he's 6.4. So my issue is getting to him. So again, if I do my own idea of going Walker instead of Diaz, I just can't. I can get to him, but I sacrifice Gallagher, and I want to give Gallagher a chance. So for me, it would be Ward-Prowse versus Gallagher, and I'm gonna go for Gallagher on that one. But if you can afford him instead of if I could get a bit more money somewhere, and so for example, I don't go Rudiger, I go Christensen. Let me go here, Chelsea, Christensen, because I think he's the value defender here for Chelsea. 6.6 million, go Southampton, Ward-Prowse, thank you very much, something like that. Because I completely agree. And again, every week I play Mendy, Walker, Christensen, Trent, Cancelo, and then 3 midfielders, Gallagher, Rafinha, Salah, or Ward-Prowse, Rafinha, Salah, 3 of the 4 lads here, and 3 strikers. My only issue here is I don't get a lot of wiggle room with the 3rd striker slot. And that'll end up going down to a 4.5 million. So again, it just comes back to the midfield. I keep saying it's Wild West. We just don't know who's doing what at the minute. So just that, and this is why I think 5 defenders is the key. And only playing 2 or 3 midfielders. Because if your front 3 are happy, Antonio, Lukaku, Toney, you're happy with them every week. They're fine. That a really strong 5-man defense every single week. Double City, double Chelsea, and a Liverpool player. You're happy. Everything's sunshine and rainbows. And then you just have to focus on swapping and changing and chopping and changing and transferring in and out all of those 5 to 6.5 million midfielders who are going hot and cold all the time. Right now, you're scared of the Chelsea selection. Me too, Anthony. Yeah, me too. And that's why I think Christensen is a great option as well. Because like I said before, he's 5 million. And if he doesn't play, he's only 5 million. You can say that about any Chelsea defense, if I'm honest, though. Rudiger back in here. Let me just reset this and go back for a second. Hey, Anderson. Yeah, a rebound of pre-season. Before the season started. I changed it up. James, you're 150k with only Trent injured. Because if I had 7 and 8 without wildcard and using transfers, what would be the last major obstacles to save it for the international? I'd hold it. Are you coming in or out? Faye. Open the door. Yeah, I'm streaming. What's wrong? No, I am finished. My wife is shy. Okay, let's catch up. James. Hey, James. How you doing, buddy? 150k with only injured. Oh, yeah. See, people save wildcards and things because they want to focus on international breaks. That is not the best time to make money because people ignore FPL. I should have played. If I had played the plan that I've got right now, if I'd have played that last week, I wouldn't have doubled my rank. But ifs and buts, I like candy and nuts, and Christmas would be every day. James, don't focus on saving a wildcard because of international breaks and stuff like that. Do it when you think it's right. So the fixtures swing for Chelsea here is huge. Arsenal have a decent one if you want to tap into some of those players as well. Southampton are about to go on a really good run. And some teams that we started with, like Everton and Brighton, are about to come into a more difficult run. So it just feels like it's a pretty good time to wildcard. Who do I think will be the highest scoring Man City by the end of the season? Bobby. It's probably going to be Cancelo. Grealish won't be super nailed for long. Braden, I agree. No Man City player is nailed, if I'm honest. Talk to you about Gallagher. Does he start? Gallagher, yeah, he starts. Look. Didn't start the first week. 90, 90, 90, 90, 90. Yes, he starts. You'd say Jesus is more nailed for the short term to mid term. I agree. Thoughts on Son in for Jota? Yes. Is it safe to jump on the Gallagher bandwagon? Reasons for going for World Prowess. All right, so Gallagher bandwagon is 5.7 million. As simple as that. If you look at it, if you're a member of Fantasy Football Scout or whatever you get your stats and stuff, and you look at his heat map, I'm pretty sure he's on. Because when I look at his heat map, there's red dots on the corners. So he takes some set pieces. He's attacking. He gets himself in the box, and he's already taken his goals really well. Reasons for Ward-Prowse. He's on set pieces. He's probably on penalties. And he's only 6.4 million. And Southampton are about to go on after this game week, on a run of Leeds, Burnley, Watford, Villa, Norwich. But again, it comes back to Southampton haven't done anything yet to force me into having them. He scored a last-minute penalty against Newcastle, and that's it. That's all he's done so far. Have you considered Hayes as an entry for City attack? He's holding it. No. Because again, it comes down to value, and it's having if Christensen doesn't play, or Alonso doesn't play, or Rudiger doesn't play, it's 5 million to 6 million worth of missing out. If Jesus doesn't play, it's 8.6, and 8.6 is just too much to not be nailed on. Gallagher is amazing, makes Palace look good. He does, Rodrev. But if you've got the extra money, I think Zaha, this could be it. I know he's burned a lot of people a lot of times, but it could be the way. Still remember when people thought you were nuts when you talked about bigger the back in pre-season. I know, George. And now everyone's just saying double Chelsea, double City, right? I didn't get any apologies, George. I'm still waiting for all of the people that call me fool and idiot and all that lot. Ramsdale, Foster. All right, I don't think that I'm going to start straight off. I tweeted about this earlier. Don't go Ramsdale on Foster because you're going to have game weeks when you don't have a goalkeeper. Leno's not done. Leno's going to come in sometimes. I just know it. I feel it in my bones. And Foster's not nailed for Watford. It feels for me that again, I said this before, when I wildcard, there's no more get out of jail free card. What you get now is what you'll have long term, and just use one free transfer. You're hitting all the time. You don't want to be hitting for a goalkeeper. You don't want to be making transfers for a goalkeeper. If you're going to go Ramsdale, fine, but I would just spend the extra 0.5 million on a Guaita or another nailed goalkeeper just to have that backup. Yes, sometimes you'll get annoyed because Ramsdale, you'll play him and he'll blank, and you'll have Guaita on the bench and he'll haul. I get it. I do. It's annoying. But I'd rather have a guy in my squad and have points to get rather than just have goalkeepers that don't play. Christian, Rudiger, Cancelo, Trent, Livramento, love it. Saka, all right. Rafinha, yes. Salah, Gallagher, Douglas Luiz, best 4.5. I'm just going to go 4.4. Brownhill, plays 9 minutes. Burnley's about to have a good run. And he's on some corners because of the little red dot on the corner flag on his heat map. Antonio Toney Lukaku, similar to me. No worries, Mux. What is my rank and total points? Oh, I plummeted, mate. I absolutely plummeted. Hold on. I don't want to click on players. I'm like 900k. I've gone from like 500k to 900k plus because I had just an awful game week. 386. Look at this. Just to remind people, guys, that you might think you want, if you're wildcarding, you might think you want 3 premiums. You don't, because the rest of your team will suffer. Look at this. 6 points, including captain. 6 points, including that for a quarter of your budget. Shocking. Absolutely shocking. And if false 9, Hazel starts every game because his end product with the motherfucker. The thing is, Brady, we just can't say it's true when we talk about Man City. We can't say Jesus is going to play because he hasn't. 20, 90, 60, 83, 66, 90. Liverpool away, he probably plays. But the Burnley, Brighton, Palace, these are the games you want him for, and these are the games that he might not play, and it might be Torres. So, again, 8.6, too rich for my blood. Shall you take a -4 to take out Bamford and swap him for Toney or not? You got Ronaldo and Toney as forwards. No, you've got a bench. I won't take a -4. I'm trying to avoid hits this season. I usually take too many. I've already taken 2 this season. I'm only in game week 6, going into game week 7. Take care, James, mate. Good luck. So let's just go back to the players I'm really likely to knock about with. Burnley, Brownhill, St. Maximin out for Toney. Again, just a reminder that the squad I've got right now is value building. Okay, that's why I've got certain players in here, because I've almost made money on them. And then Alonso. Let's look at the 4.5s again. Let's go to City. Let's go and get Diaz. So far as if you want to get Ramsdale, it's fine. I get it. I get it. Now you could go here. I think I'm 0.1 off this one. I am 0.1 off this one. But something like this would be pretty nice as well. Alonso, Rudiger, Trent, Cancelo, Diaz, Ramsdale, Guaita as your rotating goalkeepers. And then you're playing a 5 at the back every week. 2 midfielders, so Rafinha, Salah, basically. And my bench is Gallagher, Smith Rowe. And if Alonso gets rotated out, boo-hoo, that sucks. But I've got Gallagher coming in. Or I've got Smith Rowe coming in. Am I starting with Alonso? At the minute, I wasn't. Let's say Alonso out and let's just pop in Christensen. And then I can actually afford this with 0.7 in the bank. And then I can actually upgrade Guaita to Sar of Wolves if I didn't fancy doing that. But this is pretty similar to what I'm looking at right now, guys. The forward 3 for me, if I was to tell you before, so it's 6 p.m. my time tomorrow, 11 a.m. your UK time, right? If I was to tell you right now what was nailed, this front 3 is probably 90% there. This midfield is probably 80% there. Now it's just, do I go 4 here or 5? And do I risk going Alonso or do I not? The good thing about doing this, for example, as a wild card, the good thing about doing this is that if Alonso's done, he's dropped, he's out, it's over, I can go anywhere except Aspilicueta. I can go Alonso to Thiago Silva, Alonso to Christensen, Alonso to James, Alonso to Chilwell. Whoever Alonso's out for, if it looks like Chilwell's the man now, Goodbye, Marcus. Hello, James. Hello, Christensen. Hello, Terry. Whoever. So that's the good thing about if you're going to start with a 5 like this. And this game week, I would start with this. And I would probably bench Trent and Diaz and play 3 at the back. So that's another good thing about having a really amazing back 5 is I can bench him if I want. And I'll still be happy with my bench. Team looks solid. Thank you. Who would you swap for Sissoko? Is it worth keeping him on the bench? On a wild card, no, I'd just go Brownhill. He's gone down. I know he's not done anything, but from your third bench, he will be my third bench player. So if I'm using him, I've got bigger issues, right? If I go all the way down to Josh Brownhill, who would be my third sub, I'm having bigger problems that game week. But what you want from your bench players is someone who plays 90 minutes. Sissoko's fine. I'm just saving 0.1 million. And Burnley are about to play Norwich. Okay, City's not great. Southampton, Brentford, Chelsea. I don't want him to ever play. So for me, I'm just saving 0.1 million for a player who I think he's on some corners because I've looked at him. Because I obviously, in the members area for Scout, I've been looking at like touch sheet maps and stuff like that. And if the goal is here, if I'm a goalkeeper, on my right, that corner flag to the right, he's taken some corners there. And he's got some pretty attacking touches, but yes, he plays for Burnley. No, he's not exciting, but he's your third sub. So what? You know, like, I'm just saving myself 0.1 million. Simple as that. You think Douglas Luiz instead of Brownhill because I think it's good value increase. And again, don't trust Burnley. I agree. Is Luiz the better option? Yeah. But in the formation that if you're playing like a 4-4-2 or a 3-5-2 or a 3-4-3 or something like that, then you might, if Luiz is going to be your first bench, Douglas Luiz is going to be your first bench, I would go Luiz over Brownhill. But in the formation that I'm looking at right now, I'm going to have Gallagher as my first bench, and then Smith Rowe as my second bench, and then Brownhill as my third. So the only reason I'm going Brownhill is he's 4.4. If he was 4.5 million, it would be Douglas Luiz at Aston Villa. Simple as that. It depends where is he going to sit. If he's second bench, go Douglas Luiz. But if he's sitting third bench, then I'm just going to go Brownhill. Because if I, like I said before, if I'm playing Brownhill, I'm having a bad game week. If I'm playing anyone third sub, I think I'm having a bad game week. How confident are you with Lukaku this week? I almost feel like Antonio could be saved, but Lukaku more explosive. Well, I've got both of them. I just think it's worth it. Lukaku is my captain for this week. Thank you. It's a perspective. Criticism was 0% impact or Rudiger with no money left. Excellent question, George. Excellent question. I can't answer it. I've got Rudiger myself. The thing as well, if I take the punt on Alonso or Christensen and don't go Mendy as the goalkeeper, it gives me more money to play with. That's something that's swaying me. Like, if we go back and we stick Mendy in goal here, right? And I go back to Livramento and I go back to Diaz over this way. See, I can afford it. Mendy plays. I've got 2 Chelsea defenders, quote, defending players, right? Mendy, the goalkeeper, and Rudiger. Mendy does great. He'll get you the clean sheets. You can see Aston Villa, he got 9 points because he was man of the match. He was incredible. Great saves. Bonus points, the lot. He'll tick along. He'll probably play all the games, get you 6 points. He should play every single game. That's what you're paying the 6 million for. I just feel that if Mendy plays 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games and there's 5 clean sheets, he'll get 6 points in all of them. The debate that I'm having with myself is it worth saving $1 million and hoping that Christensen can play 5 of the 6? Because if he gets 5 of the 6 and gets 5 of the 6 clean sheets, it could be worth it. And if I go with Mendy, I'm stuck with a 4-3-3, and it means that every week I'm playing Diaz, Rudiger, and if Diaz or Cancelo has their week to get rotated out, or Rudiger has their week to get rotated out, I'm going into my bench. So Mendy, I think, is a fantastic option, but I'm against it because it's making me get a player in goal instead of defense. That means that if he doesn't play, I'm going deeper into my bench, and I don't want to do that. So Cancelo could get dropped. If I'm playing 4-3-3, and it's Cancelo's week to get dropped, Livermento's coming in, or Gallagher/Smith Rowe's coming in, or Brownhill's coming in, and I don't like that. So that's why I don't think I'm going to go with Mendy as the goal as one of the two Chelsea defenders. I'd rather take a punt and go for two defenders instead of a goalkeeper and a defender, because even though Mendy should play every single game, if one of them gets dropped, I'm going too deep in my bench. It's simple as that. So yeah, that's what I'm going with. This is how I'm looking at the minute. It just comes down to Alonso, right? But again, if I just go, all right, the chances of Rudiger and Christensen being dropped, for me, similar to when I said Cancelo and Walker, right? I don't think you can drop Christensen and Rudiger because there's not enough centre-backs to do it, right? If Rudiger doesn't play, if Azpilicueta is right wing back, you've got Silva, Christensen, Shabalala as the centre backs. And then you've got Rudiger. So you can't drop two of the four. So if I just don't take the punt on Alonso, just go straight in with Christensen, I've got 1.2 in the bank. And this is and like I said, people think you've got to spend all your money. If I keep 1.2 million in the bank and I upgrade a Smith Rowe to a 6.5, or a Gallagher to a 6.9, I've got play money to jump on and off those volatile midfielders. Or I just go Alonso, take the punt, and have just 0.4 in the bank. But then I can't go Smith Rowe. I go Smith Rowe to a 5.7. Decore, Townsend, not exactly, setting the world on fire. And the thing with Rudiger, honestly, guys, the thing with Rudiger is if his contract is up and he's not signing, why would you keep playing him? When you've got Christensen who's like 25 years old. So I'm potentially leaning towards possibly not having Rudiger. Because again, if he goes up 0.1 by tomorrow, I'll get his money. If I don't go Rudiger and I go Christensen and Alonso, not Aspilicueta, sorry, Christensen and Alonso, I've got $1 million in the bank for a rainy day. Smith Rowe to a 6.3, Gallagher to a 6.7, Toney to a 7.3, Brownhill to a 5.4, Cancelo to Robertson. Just examples here. I like having that. Alonso's my punt. He doesn't play. I go 4-3-3, Salah, Rafinha, and it's Smith Rowe or Gallagher coming in. Save more money. Don't get Diaz. And go for Walker. Because like I said before, I don't see both of them getting dropped. I've got 1.6 in the bank. I can even be Rudiger back if I want. I've got $1 million still. So yeah, for my midfield and my strikers, I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, yeah, I don't see a lot changing in my midfield. Because I keep saying, midfielders, we don't know what's going on. Is there a way for me to get to Son? That's the question. You would have to go. I want Salah, Rafinha, and it would be Gallagher or Smith Rowe. Let's just get rid of Gallagher for now. Let's put Son in. 1.9 million. I can't get there. I can't get to comfortably. I can't get to a 4-3-3 with Son. I need another $1 million gone. not going to happen, is it? No. You're taking Trent out to get Son. Yeah, for me, Matt, it's just not worth it. He's the most valuable player in the game in FPL, in my opinion. I know he's got some tough games coming up, but if he's back, I've got to have him. But for argument's sake, I could do this. Christensen, Rudiger, Diaz, Cancelo, Son, Rafinha, Salah, Toney, Antonio, Lukaku. And my missing guy here is Trent. How an easy switch because it's two transfers. I might start this way. Or sorry, let me. It's 9.9. Wounded. I'm wounded. Damn. Look at that. Gosh darn it. That's a real shame, that, because if that was it, that could have been the one. Christensen, Rudiger, Diaz, Cancelo, Son, Rafinha, Salah, Toney, Antonio, Lukaku, Gallagher on the bench. This was the one. And I can't drop Rudiger down to anyone else. I'm not going to drop him down to Thiago Silva. I think he's more rotation threat than anyone. And there's no midfielders for 4.3. I don't think. No, 4.4 is the cheapest midfielder. Damn, that is a real shame. I mean, I can still afford it. I just don't go Diaz. I go Walker. And I can afford it. So... yeah. Villa and Newcastle. And who's Liverpool got in the next 2 or 3? City, Watford. Matt, could you go and watch Trent against Watford away and not have him? There's just no games that I don't think I can have Trent. I mean, is there for you? Are there any? Could you I know he's got Newcastle away, and that is lovely. But we know what Spurs are like against a team that drops back, because Newcastle are just going to sit back, and Son can't get in behind. Son is so good. He's not even going to be close. He's not even going to be close to price drop, is he? Ramsdale's going up. Good for him. Oh. All right, fine. Let's just do it by price. Oh no, Son's going up. Son's going up, not down. I can't see. Let me get rid of Notepad now. WordPad. There we go. You can see, look, he's going up. He was minus 28.5. Can't do it. Rather have a team with Trent. But here's the thing. Matt has got the right point. That if I just don't do a transfer next game week, I can use 2 free transfers to get him back, can't I? Because I just go... I just go... Livramento to Trent. And then Son to... a 7.1. Why have I got so much money? What am I missing here? It's because I'm Diaz. Okay. I don't know why I have so much money in this situation. Rolling it together. I'm going to break into a High School Musical shout. Why have I got so much money? Like, I'm confused. I've confused myself. Damn it, DS. Why do you have to be 6.1? All right, Walker, go on then. Yeah. So to get Trent back, that's why, because I wouldn't have DS. So it'd be Livramento to Trent, and then Sun out to anyone. Any midfielder I want under 7.1. Zaha. Well done, Zaha. You're in. Double Palace. The dream. Yeah, Christensen instead of Alonso, right? Because I explained that I don't think Christensen and Rudiger can get dropped. All right, Zaha's just there as a joke, guys. Let's steady down. All right, just for a second, let's just put Benrahma in there just as a point. So every week it would be Guaita, Christensen, Rudiger, Trent, Cancelo, Walker, 5, 2, Rafinha, Salah, Benrahma on the bench, 3. Yeah, oh, we could do it, you know. Thoughts on Saka? No, not for me, Joseph. Alonso. Could we do this, Matt? Could we do it? Really? For 1 week? Tell you what, if I go Diaz. Diaz. For 1 week. Okay, now I've only got now I've only got 3.2 million in the bank, and I'm confused all over again. Damn it, I can't go DS, that's why. It's got to be Walker and Livramento. No, I can't afford it. Why am I so... Oh, it's Alonso. It's been a long day, guys. And then... Oh, that's why. Yeah, I can't afford it. See, I'd want DS. Yes! And then I'm going to have to play a defender who's 4 million for a week. Oof. Now's your time to shine, Manquillo. I'd have to have a 4 million to afford it. So it would be Manquillo. And then in 2 game weeks, it would be Manquillo to Trent. And then Son to... Yeah. This could work. My overall ranking is just under 1 million now. I almost doubled my rank last week. Do you play Shaw for Rudiger, Alonso, or Bruno out? For free, I'd just go for Rudiger. Do you play Shaw for Alonso, Rudiger? Oh yeah. Oh, I wouldn't go Salah or Saka. I'm not bothered about them. Have Smith Rowe instead of Gallagher. I know I could do that. I just believe in Gallagher over Smith Rowe. Like I'm not arsed about Arsenal. I'm just not. Yeah, I know they've just had a good game against Spurs, but 1 good game week doesn't make up for the 5 weeks of rubbish. Brighton away isn't easy. Palace at home, Villa, Leicester, Watford. But it's for the bench, isn't it? Gallagher's 5.7. If it's just for a bench, could just be worth it, couldn't it? It's tough. If I'm going full punt, guys, this would be it, wouldn't it? It would be Christensen, Rudiger, Diaz, Cancelo, Son, Rafinha, Salah, Smith Rowe on the bench, Brownhill on the bench, Livramento on the bench, Toney, Antonio, Lukaku up front. And then I'd have basically Son against Trent for Villa and Newcastle, against nothing because he's injured, and Watford. So to make it worth it, Son has 2 games and Trent has 1. Also, the good thing about this move is that when I go from Livramento to Trent, I can go to any 6.9 and below. So maybe by 2 weeks' time, I'm able to pinpoint a player who, in midfield, who is starting to look more solid. So maybe Gallagher's still looking good in 3 weeks when they've got Newcastle. And I bring him in then. I like the look of this. Don't have Trent for just 2 weeks. Doesn't play against City, he's injured. I don't have it for Watford, so I don't have it for 1 game. And I have Heung-min Son for 2 games. Does mean that I'm going to Liverpool, though, with Cancelo and Diaz. But if I just do this for 2 weeks and all hell doesn't break loose with the rest of my team, this could be spicy. This is bold. This is bold. 12% owned. I could go crazy. I could drop Rudiger and go for Alonso. Look at that. Oh. Don't even go Rudiger. Don't even go nailed. Go mental. Ben White. No. Livermento's the key for me. Ramsdale, Christensen, Rudiger, Cancelo, Cresswell, Williams, Salison, Rafinha. I like it. I like it. Trent or Shaw out. On a wild card, Shaw yes, Trent no. Okay, I'm not going to be hypocritical. You can see I don't have Trent in right now, but that's because I would like to get him back in 2 weeks. Not because I don't think he's a good player. If I'm on a wild card, I'll just bring him back in a couple of weeks. But here's the issue with that. And it's the one issue is if Trent just randomly skyrockets in price, or my defenders just lose all their value. So that's why I would just stick with Rudiger and keep 0.3 just in case. But also, I've penciled in a transfer in 2 weeks, and that means that nothing else can go wrong with my team. And if it doesn't go wrong, great. The 2 free transfers can happen. But if anything goes wrong and I need to use a transfer, that means I'm going longer and longer and longer without Trent back in my side. Now, I can deal with it for 3 weeks because he's got United. So he doesn't play against City, he's injured. Watford, I'm going to poo my pants. And then Man United away, on paper, shouldn't be a super good game for Trent. But then Brighton, West Ham, the longer I leave it, the sadder I get. I'm liking this, guys. I'm not going to lie. I'm liking it a lot. Yeah, I like this. I don't think Rudiger and Christensen both get dropped all the time. I think if one of them gets dropped, I'm safe with the other one. I could save even more money, go DS down to Walker, because I explained earlier. Again, it comes down to another 50-50, guys. If Cancelo is dropped, Walker just can't be dropped. And if Walker's dropped, Cancelo can't be dropped. Because if Walker's dropped, Cancelo is the right back. If Cancelo is dropped, Walker is the right back. Because Cancelo's been playing left back. If Trent drops tonight, he's out of your draft for DS. But also, don't forget that if you lose money on Trent, if you bought him at 7.5, you don't lose any money. So if I just put Trent back in, I got Trent. I've only got him for 7.5. So if you got him for 7.5, I know he's 7.6 now, but he'll go back to 7.5. You don't lose any money. Play 3-4-3 for the next game instead of 4-3-3. I could do that, yes. I could go Christensen, Rudiger, Cancelo, Son, Rafinha, Salah, Smith, Rowe. Yeah, I could do 3-4-3. I could. Triple captain in Salah versus Watford. Save it for a double game week. That's just my opinion now. Trent should go down tonight. True, Danny, but I won't lose any value on him. If you had Trent for 7.5, he'll just stay at 7.5 for you. You won't sell. You won't lose anything. Rafinha captain versus Watford. Big haul coming. Big differential. I'm going for Lukaku. I like this, guys. Oh, hold on. I can't have this. 1 second. Let me just put... Yeah, I like this, guys. And I'm 3 million over budget. Let me just go back to this. Yeah, I like this. And I know people scream no Trent. And I've already said I want to get him back. Son out. Livermento out. Trent in. And a 6.9 million. I don't even have to use all that money. I could just use 5.7 of it and get Gallagher again. I like this a lot. My issue here is Diaz. He's just a nailed on one though, isn't he? He's just a nailed on player for Man City. It's what you pay for. But I just feel as though with Walker, I can't see them both being dropped. But Christensen, I can't change him for a... Rudiger's supposed to be the most nailed for Chelsea. Who do I go Christensen to? Alonso's not nailed. Chilwell's not nailed. Reece James isn't nailed. Thiago Silva isn't nailed. Azpilicueta would be 0.1 million shy. So it just feels like this is the better move. Cheers, Sparta. Isn't Son a big gamble at the moment given how Spurs are? Yeah, he is. But the fact that he's got Villa at home and then Newcastle away, and then even if I keep him for West Ham away, it's Heung-min Son, baby. Heung-min Son. I mean, look at that. He scored against Arsenal in a terrible game. He's got 2 double-digit hauls. He's only 12 points. He's only 12% owned, and he's my cash cow. Jota out on a wild card, yes. Guaita, meh. True, but I mean, who else am I going to go for? I don't want Ramsdale because I don't think he's nailed. I had Raya. I could, you know, I'm annoyed at myself because I had Raya and then I got rid of him for Guaita and I should have just kept him. So I'm thinking of just bringing him back, suffer West Ham and Chelsea and Leicester, and then just have him for this run. I've had Raya. Had him. I'm just bringing him back in for 0.1 more, which is annoying, and it's my own fault. But if you look at Guaita, Leicester, Arsenal, Newcastle, City, okay. Burnley, Wolves, Burnley, Villa, Leeds, United, Everton, Southampton, Watford. Yeah, I don't think that's too bad. Christensen is higher than Thiago Silva. Shabalot and Aspi in a pick and order. I agree, except with Azpilicueta. ASM is underrated. I agree, Crypto. He was in my team. I'm saving money. I've got Toney. Son 12% ownership. Oh my god. Yep, it's really low. Saw, Saka, Decore. Saw and Decore. Let's reset the squad. Boom. This is the squad I've got right now. I'm using Decore and Saw for money. I can get more money by tomorrow, guys, hopefully. If we have a look, let me get rid of this. Trent going down. Joe's going down. This isn't confirmed, obviously. Al-Nouri going down, Mount going down, Buendia going down, and going up is only Ramsdale. If Alonso can go up, please go up just 0.1 more, then I will make money on him. Yeah, I think he's my only hope. And look at that, 3 big arrows. He's the most bought-in player right now. So if he can go up one more time, and I could sell him for that 0.1, and I'm singing in the rain, guys. And if Trent can go down, sweet. Interested in City tag up to Liverpool? No, Shelby, just because no one's nailed. There's talks of Leno wanting to leave. Probably Danny. I mean, if he's going to lose his place, you would, wouldn't you? Anyway, I'm going to leave it there for today, guys. It's been almost 2 hours. Obviously, it's wildcard, so it's not usually this long. I wanted to explain the okay, the squad's all changed now. It's not this. From what we just discussed earlier, I wanted to talk about why I'll be going bigger at the back. Probably a big 4 now, and then Livramento will go out for Trent in 3 weeks or 2 weeks if all goes well. I might take that punt on Son. Follow me on Twitter. At FPL Hall. Before the deadline tomorrow, any thoughts and changes and things I have will be put onto Twitter. Anything that's finalized will be put on here before the deadline. Okay, so good luck, everyone. If you're playing your wild card, make sure it's long term. That would be the key thing I want to tell you guys. Like, don't get players that have just got an next 1 or 2 good game weeks. Be careful if you're thinking of getting Ramsdale and Foster, for example, because you could have game weeks where they don't play. Be careful of getting the South Americans in who go off and play international football. So just think about it. 5-2-3. That's where I'm looking. I'm probably looking at 4-3-3. And then when I've got Trent, it'll be 5-2-3 or 5-3-2. Probably 5-2-3. And we'll see. Cresswell's a punt for this week, then DS next week. No, I wouldn't waste a transfer on that myself. Anyway, thanks, guys. Have a good one. See you next week. Maybe, because it's national break. Maybe. I'll let you know. Follow me on Twitter, and you'll find out. Take it easy, guys. Have a good one. Good luck.